He was once regarded as a foreigner because of questions about his mother's birthplace. For that reason, he was twice barred from running in presidential elections. But Alassane Dramane Ouattara is now the internationally recognized president of Ivory Coast. VOA's Mariama Diallo takes a closer look at the man known as Ado by his supporters.
Alassane Dramane Ouattara is an economist by profession. Now 69, he studied in the United States and spent most of his career at the International Monetary Fund and the West African Central Bank.
Well, I know him personally. I know him when he was at the
Melvin Foot is the president of Constituency for Africa.
Mild-mannered, very intelligent, very smart guy, but I don't see him as charismatic. I don't see him as the traditional African leader of the past.
Meaning?
I see him looking at budgets. I see him looking at planning. I see him looking at strategic plans and that kind of thing, which is good. I think Africa has to move more in that direction.
Mr. Ouattara was called back to Ivory Coast in 1990 by then-President Félix Houphouët-Boigny to rescue the country's stagnant economy. He served as prime minister from 1990 to 1993, but when Mr. Houphouët-Boigny died, new president Henri Konan Bédié accused Ouattara of not being Ivorian enough because his mother was from neighboring Burkina Faso, something Ouattara denies. He was subsequently barred from the 1995 and 2000 presidential elections on the same grounds. Although widely seen by his supporters as a hard-working politician who favors transparency, he has been accused of backing a coup which plunged the West African country into civil war, a charge he also denies. After that 2002 civil war, which divided the country between mainly Muslim North and Christian South, the Ivorian constitution was amended to remove the requirement for all candidates to be of pure Ivorian ancestry. That allowed Mr. Ouattara to challenge incumbent President Laurent Gbagbo in last year's presidential elections. Though most of the international community recognizes Mr. Ouattara as the winner, Mr. Gbagbo has refused to cede power, leaving Mr. Ouattara to run a shadow government from an Abidjan hotel. Since the stalemate began, hundreds have died and 1 million Ivorians have reportedly been displaced. But Melvin Foot says Mr. Ouattara's biggest challenge is yet to come.
I think it's going to be difficult for him to build a consensus that is going to allow him to govern in a way that's going to move the country forward.
Still, says Whitney Schneidman, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, he may be able to do it.
He's a very experienced individual, and I think he understands the importance of compromise, and I think he understands the importance of developing a government of national unity. He won the election, but he didn't win by that much, so it will be very important for him to include other constituencies in his cabinet, and I think that will augur most strongly for getting off on the right foot.
When and if he finally takes power, though, he will also face questions about human rights violations allegedly committed by his own supporters, along with those loyal to Mr. Gbagbo. Mariama Diallo, VOA News.